I was driving home late one night. The rain was coming down in sheets, making it hard to see more than a few feet in front of me. My headlights barely cut through the darkness, and the road was empty. I squinted through the windshield, trying to keep my eyes on the road. The wipers were working overtime, but it still felt like I was driving through a waterfall. That's when I saw it, a figure standing by the side of the road. At first, I thought it was a hitchhiker, maybe someone whose car had broken down. But as I got closer, I could see that the figure wasn't moving, just standing there in the pouring rain. I pulled over, rolling down the window just a bit. "Do you need help?" I called out, but the rain was so loud I wasn't sure if they heard me. The figure turned slowly, and I felt a chill run down my spine. Their face was pale, expressionless, and their eyes. There was something wrong with their eyes. They looked empty, like they were staring right through me. Something about the way they looked at me made me uneasy. I started to roll up the window, but then they spoke. "Help me," they said, their voice barely audible over the rain. I hesitated. Every instinct told me to drive away, but I couldn't just leave someone out there in the rain. "What's wrong?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. They stepped closer, their clothes drenched and clinging to their body. "I need a ride," they said, their voice sounding more desperate. "Please." Against my better judgment, I unlocked the passenger door. "Get in," I said, my voice shaking a little. They opened the door and slid into the seat, bringing a gust of cold, wet air with them. We drove in silence for a while. I kept glancing over at them, but they just stared straight ahead, water dripping from their hair and clothes. I tried to make small talk, but they didn't respond. The only sound was the rain and the wipers. The tension in the car was growing, and I felt more and more uneasy. Something about this person wasn't right. I could feel it. "Where do you need to go?" I finally asked, trying to break the silence. They turned to face me, and I nearly swerved off the road. Their eyes were even more unsettling up close, hollow, like dark pits. "Just drive," they said, their voice sounding almost inhuman. "I'll tell you when to stop." I gripped the steering wheel tightly, my knuckles white. Fear was creeping in, and I didn't know what to do. I kept driving, the rain pounding on the roof and the road stretching endlessly ahead. Then I noticed something strange. The air inside the car was getting colder, and the windows were fogging up. The rain outside seemed to grow heavier, if that was even possible. Suddenly, the figure pointed ahead. "There," they said, their voice urgent. "Stop there." I squinted through the windshield and saw a small, dark road leading off the main one. I turned onto the dark road, my heart pounding. The sense of dread was overwhelming, but I didn't know what else to do. The road was narrow, lined with thick trees that seemed to close in on us. We came to a stop, and the figure opened the door. They stepped out into the rain without a word, disappearing into the darkness. I sat there, stunned and terrified. I sat there for a moment, trying to process what had just happened. The fear was still there, but the figure was gone. I didn't know if they were real or some kind of ghostly apparition. I didn't wait to find out. I turned the car around and drove away as fast as I could, the rain still pouring down. To this day, I don't know what I encountered on that rainy night, but I'll never forget those hollow eyes and that chilling voice. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and beware of the night.